Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In today's video, I need your help. You see, recently I purchased this notebook along with a few others just like it because I want to endeavor to write an actual book or a novel. I don't really know what the difference is, but I bought a couple of journals because I prefer writing the old-fashioned way. So that's why this is here. This is not sponsored, by the way, but I went through a couple different journals, but these here, these are the Redicy brand. It says right there. You can get these on Amazon. They're decently cheap. I have found these to be incredible, and I do apologize that I'm having so much trouble framing this. I'm testing a new angle here, so, but again, not sponsored, but if you're looking for a new journal, these are what I will be using for the foreseeable future. I quite like these, but this is not what we're using today. What I need your help with is finding the perfect writing utensil. So that's why we are using this traditional sort of high school, elementary, 70-page notebook thing. So we're going to open to a blank page, just like that. And then beside me here, I have a number of different writing utensils, starting off with this number 2 pencil. Very classic. There's nothing wrong with a number 2 pencil. So let's see how this feels. Now, I will ask you to forgive me for my handwriting. I've never been the most stable with a pencil in my hands. So we will try to do this properly. Let's write a quick greeting. Now, I quite like the traditional pencil. You can't go wrong with a pencil. That felt very comfortable in the hands. It was decently smooth to write with. Let's try it one more time. Yes, that is very nice. This is specifically America's pencil, so you know it's good. Let me just try a few more things. I could see myself using that for sure. Let's move on to our next instrument. This here is, well, if you're American, I can only speak for my own country, but if you're from America and you grew up when I did, you know exactly what this is. These were everywhere when I was in elementary school. We practically fought wars over these mechanical pencils. These are Bic 0.7 millimeter pencils. I think they're slightly smaller than the lead in a standard number 2 pencil. Maybe a lot smaller, actually, looking at it there, but we will give this pencil a try. Now, I do admit I'm not sure how all of these will translate into the microphone. I'll see if I can play with the audio a little bit during the editing process, boost some of them if I need to. But again, you work with what you've got, as I always say. So let's give this a run. Oh, wow. That's not great. Now, with this specific pencil, I already dislike it more than the standard number 2. It feels much more fragile. It feels like it's getting caught on the paper more than the other one. Let's give it another try. We'll see. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing there. Yeah, this one is certainly not my forte, for sure. This is a much weaker showing than the number 2 pencil. This just feels so... I don't quite know how to describe it, but it feels like I'm using a raw pasta noodle to write with, and yeah, this one, it sort of feels like if you ever have sand in your teeth, don't ask if you don't know, but like, if it's ever like a dusty day, you're out on a dirt road or something, and you just get some grit in your teeth. That's kind of what this feels like. I hope that makes sense, but it's not a good experience. So I don't think we'll be using that one to write a novel. Now, this next one is a bit odd. I have a pack of Crayola colored pencils. So this right here is a black Crayola pencil. And we'll give this a try. This is a very odd, feels very odd in the hand. It's quite thick. And it's a bit thicker than the number 2 pencil, which is, it just feels very odd. But, we're here for science, and I also would like to apologize if you can hear my chair. It's a very old chair that I pulled out of a closet, so it's barely holding itself together, but again, you use what you have. So let's try the black colored pencil. Now, this is an interesting one. At first, I really liked it. It's like writing with gel, almost. It feels, it felt really nice when I started, but then as I went down the line, I don't know if it was like the positioning of where my hand was, but it it felt like it got loose, like I didn't have proper control of it. Let me try something. Yeah, that felt really good. That felt very smooth, very nice. What does it feel like to use as an art device? It's very odd. The what they use for the color, it has a very sort of slippery kind of feel to it. Let's see. I don't immediately hate it as a writing device. I don't think I'm going to be using this to write a novel, but you know, in certain areas, it does just feel really good. You know, like with the quicker sort of shapes, like doing just straight lines like that, that feels really good. But if you get to something like a D, feels kind of not ideal. Anyways, I should have rated these now that I think about it. So let's retroactively do that. So with the America's #2 pencil, I would give this a solid 9 out of 10 writing score. Okay, with the Bic mechanical pencil, I would give this a 5 out of 10, a 4 out of 10. This black Crayola colored pencil, I would give, this one, I would give this a 6.5, a 6.5 out of 10. Okay, so those are the pencils that I have. Our next grouping, let's put this colored pencil away behind the camera. Our next grouping will be pens. Okay, I have quite a number of pens here that I found throughout my house in various places. So let me select the first pen. This pen is what does that say? Uni, I believe, UNI 207. Made in Japan. I have no idea if this pen works, but we'll give that a click. And let's see. Ooh, that works. Ooh, oh, I have high hopes for this. Okay, my first impressions, this pen it's got a very light feel to it, a very airy feel. I feel like I could go very quickly with this pen, which I tend to do normally anyway. It's why my handwriting is the way it is and has these, you know, extra lines in it. Because I don't take my time at all when I'm writing. And even in this context, when I'm trying to slow down on purpose, is very difficult. So that's why my handwriting is the way that is, because I just, you know, but this would greatly exacerbate that problem. Now, I do want to say that this grip here at the front of the pen is a little bit uncomfortable. It feels a little bit wide for my liking, but let's try. Yeah, this is a very quick pen. It's like I'm writing with nothing. There's barely any resistance when I go through that. Let's see here. Let's try some numbers. I do like it though, in a weird way. It is very nice to use. If you can overlook the fatness of that grip, I think I will give this pen. Oh, it's Uniball. I see that now on the thing there. Uniball. Signo. I don't know. But I will rate this pen 7.6. 7.6 out of 10 for that pen. Now let's this one. What is this? This is this is an Energel liquid gel ink pen. Let's see if this one works. Ooh, doesn't seem to work very well. It might be dried completely. Yeah, I think it might be. Hold on. We had it there at the start. Let me give it a little. See if that does anything. Not really. See, it has it there a little bit. You can still kind of. Yeah. So it looks like this one is out of ink. However, even if it did have ink, I would sadly have to give this a pretty low rating. I did not enjoy how that felt at all, and maybe that's a little bit unfair, given that it was out of ink. But the overall writing experience for this was not very good. So I will give that. A 5 out of 10. Still better than the mechanical Bic pencil there. Okay, let me make sure I have everything where I want it to be. Okay, here we have our only colored pen. This is Papermate Inkjoy. These are very popular pens. This one is a bit old. It's got a cracked lid or cap, I suppose. So let's give this a try. Find somewhere to write. We got some room up here. This is very smooth. I don't know why I added an extra E there, but oh well. This one is incredibly smooth. Reminds me of that first pen that we had. This one right here. This does feel like I could definitely. Oh, that is really nice to use, actually. I can see why these are so popular. This is really good, and I do want to make sure that you understand. None of this is sponsored. Okay, this is just me mucking about for YouTube content, basically, is what this amounts to. So, let me flip over to a clean sheet of paper. This is the ink Troy. What is this called again? Ah, yeah, ink Troy from Paper Mate. So this is very nice, very easy to use. It feels very quick, but not in a bad way. It's very smooth. It's like writing with butter. Let's try some numbers. Yeah, I like that. I think I will give that a solid 8 out of 10. Goodness gracious. I hope that did not get picked up on camera. My stomach just went ballistic. I have not eaten for several hours. I'm trying to not snack so much. So clearly, if that got picked up, good lord. Anyways, let's move on. I now have a Bic Velocity Gel pen. Now, Bic is not doing so hot. We'll see if they can redeem themselves. So let's. A second, just have to adjust my glove a little bit. Again, the gloves, if you're new to the channel, is because I have a condition known as vitiligo or vitiligo, which affects the pigment in the skin, and I'm still coming to terms with that. So for the time being, I wear these gloves to hide that. It's not the biggest deal in the world, right? Having this condition, it's mostly right. It's mostly just cosmetic. And, you know, I am not a very dark-skinned person, as you can tell, so it is by no means as obvious as it is on other people, but it is certainly something that you have to adjust to. And one day I will make that adjustment, but for the time being, here we are. Anyways, that tangent aside, this is the Bic Velocity, and I can already tell you that I am not a big fan of it. It feels. How do I describe this? For one, I think it's out of ink. Let's give it a good shake. Yeah, it's sort of dry, but when we were doing this over here, it has that weird sort of, how do I describe it? Like it's getting caught on the paper sort of feeling that I really dislike in my pens. It's got like a scratchiness to it, right? I think that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, you know, it is a little bit dry. There's not a lot of ink left in there. Let me see. Yeah, it's not got a lot of ink left, but at the same time, it's got that scratchiness that I dislike. So let me see. I think I would give this a 4 out of 10, and that barely shows up. But oh well. Now we are moving on to our final pen. This is also a Paper Mate. This is a Papermate Wright Brothers 1mm. They also make these in 2mm, I believe. Let's give this a try. Let's see. I don't know why that P looks like a D, but it does. Ooh. This is... My stomach did another thing there. I apologize. Sometimes we can't control the universe, and it punishes us for our hubris. But I am loving this pen. It's got a good feel in the hand. It's actually smaller down here, where you grab it. At least, where I grab it. I know everybody has their own way of grabbing their writing utensils, but I usually grab it like this. So let's try. Oh, babe. Oh my goodness, that feels delightful. That is truly a wonderful, wonderful feeling pen there. That is amazing. Wow. Okay. Let's try some numbers. Let's try 2, 7, 12, 20, 36, 91, 113. This is a very good pen. A very good pen. I will give that a 9 out of 10. I quite enjoyed that. Okay, now our final category is markers. Starting off with a classic, the Sharpie. Now, here's a funny anecdote. When I was in high school, my junior year, there was something known as the Sharpie Wars. Okay? And what the Sharpie Wars was essentially a group of kids at my high school, and I'm not saying I was one of them, okay? For legal reasons, this is purely academic storytelling, but the Sharpie Wars was essentially this group of kids would run around the school, and they all had their own unique sort of symbol, right? Or tag, as some would call it in the spray painting world. They would call it a tag. And so you would run around the school, and you would try to get your tag on as many things as possible. So let's say this star is the tag, right? And you didn't want it to be, too out there, too identifiable. So it was usually pretty simple symbols. Okay, so I know one of them was a trapezoid. It was a trapezoid. That's a terrible trapezoid. But it was a trapezoid with a circle in the middle. So you would get these to wherever you could in the school. And the basic goal was to get your tag on as many things as possible before the custodians would come and wipe them off. They had, I think they would use like acetone or something to get the marker off, but it eventually led to somebody, and this was not me, somebody teacher conference or something or whatnot, but they got into the school after hours, and they tagged every single locker in the building. Okay, now this individual was not very smart. For one thing, the school was basically deserted. Okay, and the cameras were running. So this particular individual, this previously unknown assailant, marked every single locker in the school, every single one of them, even in the teacher's lounge or whatever it was. They had lockers. I don't know why they had lockers there, but they had lockers in the teacher's lounge. And I don't remember what his symbol was. It was like a circle with like a triangle on top or something. But that's irrelevant to the story. But he got caught, obviously, because he was the only one on camera marking up every locker. And he had to pay a pretty hefty fine because they eventually just smacked him for, how do I say this? They basically said that he did all of it, except he was only doing his symbol. Again, this is purely academic storytelling. I certainly did not have a hand in any of this. No, sirree, I'm a good law-abiding citizen. But essentially, they smacked him with all of it, and I think, they basically made him pay like $2,000 or something, which doesn't sound like a lot, but we were like juniors or seniors. Well, seniors, I guess, would have made more sense. So it was like junior year of high school that we were doing this. And I think the whole goal was to get as much marked as you could without getting caught, and then you tally it up at the end of the week. But yeah, this man got a little bit out there with the Sharpie Wars. So anyway, what does that have to do with my feelings towards this writing utensil? Effectively nothing. I just thought it was a fun story. So let's write before the smell of this thing drives me to drink. So let's write a quick message. I'm just going to say hello and a smiley face. It's not bad. It's not bad at all for writing. I think it does bleed a little bit onto the next page. Quite a lot, actually. So I think that might be a little bit impractical. What did I say there? Impractical. As a writing utensil, especially because of the smell of these things. I have never been a fond of the sort of acetone kind of smell. Never been my thing. I think I would give the classic Sharpie marker, I think I would give it a 6 out of 10 rating. It has its uses for sure, but I'm going to tuck that away. These next two markers are just random markers that I found to put into this video for fun. This first one says Disneyland on it. No idea where it came from. Found it in a drawer. Okay, so crack this open. Let's give it a try. Oh, I don't like that. That's got a weird. It also smells terrible. I'm glad smell-o-vision doesn't exist, ladies and gentlemen, because wow, that's bad. Oh yeah, that is. Maybe that's a symptom of it sitting in a drawer for however many years. But goodness. Oh, I gotta put that up. Well, hold on. I will rate this as a 3 out of 10. It doesn't feel very stable at all. It's got a weird, like, rubbery sort of tip that I don't So we're going to move on from that one as quickly as possible. This next one might be even worse. This next one is a Craft Smart paint pen. So we'll give that a go. This one smells. This one smells like Kahlua. If you've ever had Kahlua with your eggnog, coffee flavored liqueur, this smells almost identical to that. So let's see how it writes. Right. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I don't think these are meant specifically to be used in this sort of context as a writing utensil or anything, but I don't hate that actually. Let me draw a triangle, a square, circle. Wow, this is a weird one. It's got sort of like that scratchiness to it that I didn't like with the big velocity gel or whatever. But let me draw something more. Give him a cowboy hat and a gun. I actually don't hate this thing. Wow, that is surprising. I'm gonna give that slightly better than the Sharpie. I'm going to give that a 6.5 out of 10. That was surprisingly pleasant. The smell kind of gets to you though. That weird Kahlua smell. I'm not overly fond of, so I think that leaves us with, if I'm remembering this correctly, I think that leaves us with these three options. For me specifically, be sure to let me know down in the comment section which of these writing utensils you most preferred from a visual standpoint. This may come in handy later. We'll see though. So I would like to thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate all of your continued support. I will speak with you all again soon, and goodbye for now.